Today's socks is another pair made with Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn. Spoiler alert, there are a lot of those in this bin. I'm pretty sure this is the Winter Comforts colorway, which was a day 25 skein from one of the advents that I purchased from that shop. I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but I am providing a link to my Ravelry project page for each pair of today's socks in the show notes for each day of Vlogmas. So if you're interested, you can go check that out.
The American Revolution is, on the one hand, an intensely local war, and on the other hand, a great global war. As a global war, the American Revolution continues the series of wars among empires for the prize of North America.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. I've had quite a late start to the day. I didn't get up until almost 10:30, which is just unheard of, but I slept much better last night. I only woke up coughing once, and that was more because I kind of breathed in funny and had one of those coughs that wouldn't stop. Cameron said when he got up this morning, I sounded like a chainsaw, so I kind of take that as a good sign. As you will have seen, I've been watching some TV. I recorded Ken Burns' The American Revolution and have been slowly watching them. I'm about halfway now through the second to last episode, and I've been learning a lot. I've known a fair bit about American history through reading both fiction and nonfiction, but it's interesting to learn everything kind of from start to finish. So I put my neck stripe in my Miss Marple scrappy socks, and so I've been struggling with lighting this whole Vlogmas, as you can probably tell. So hopefully this isn't too bad. I'm in our spare room just from a different angle. This is the TV that will eventually make it up into our living room. We have the wall mount stand and such. Now that our work in there is done, we just need to get a shelf for that corner where it's going to go, and we just haven't done it yet. Anyway, yeah, I'm struggling with lighting and struggling with sound. As you will have seen, I've got to figure out how to make the intro music and any other music quieter and me louder, or I guess just balance them out. Anyway, I'm not unaware of it. I just haven't had the wherewithal to figure it out. Anyway, all that aside, here's my stripe for the day. This is a Caribbean mystery, and then can't wait till tomorrow to do Nemesis. So I have done one round of this on one sock. As I always do, it just sort of gets me going for the next day. And now it's all tangled around my needle. I'll deal with that after. So I have opened day 5 of my Yarn Ink Advent, and today's colorway is called Secrets Whispered. I was expecting that we might start going in a different direction today, but I have to say that today's colorway looks a lot like yesterday's colorway. And I have laid out the others, so I will pop a picture in here with this one next to the previous 4. All right, and I promised you yesterday, or I promised you the day before yesterday, that I would show you some progress on my St. Mary Mead socks. Night before last, I did finish the heel and do another round on them, and so let me just see. I've got Oh, I meant to bring, I should have had a sock blocker. Can you tell my mind's not working quite right yet? Anyway, we have progress. So there's the front of it, and there's the heel. Now, I have never done a heel quite like this before. I have done toe-up socks with heel flaps and gussets. This one's a little bit different than I've done before. Now, it could stand to be a few rows shorter on the foot. It does fit, but the guidelines on the pattern were work to 2 to 2.5 inches before the end of your heel. Try it on to see where your ankle begins. And I did that. It was about 2 inches to go. And I got to the end of the gusset increases, which, let's see if you can see here. They're along each side. And when I've done toe-up socks before with a gusset, you then do short rows and a heel flap, and you end up with a heel that looks like this. So I was concerned that my foot was going to be even longer. But in this case, when you do your short rows, it actually fits. Sorry, the needles are hard to, it doesn't add any length. It decreases sort of along the back of where a heel flap would normally be, but it's not a heel flap in the sense that it's a square. It's like your other side of your heel. So it's quite interesting. And from the side, it's more of an angle than a traditional heel flap and gusset sock. So it actually didn't really add length to it. So they do fit. They're just that slight bit longer than I would normally like. I like to have a little bit of negative ease in the length, but they certainly will fit. And I'm only going to wear them probably once or twice a year, because these are going to go into my Christmas and winter socks bin, because the colorway is Christmas in St. Mary Mead, and so I'll be able to manage them for a day or two in a year. So Cameron is due home for lunch in just a few minutes, so I'm gonna say goodbye for now. I think I'm gonna try and get a bit of housework done this afternoon. I definitely have neglected that this week, unfortunately, and it's driving me crazy. My house desperately needs a vacuum. So that's what I'm up to this afternoon, and I'll pop in later to say hello.
In video editing, audio processing is just as important as visuals.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. about 20 after 4. I think my face looks a little red. I've just been having a bit of a coughing fit here. Anyway, I just finished vacuuming, washing some of the floors and dusting. So I'm going to sit down and have a little snack. I have a cinnamon scone that Cameron brought home from the bakery at the mall last night after his dentist appointment, and a nice hot cup of tea. Yes, tea tastes good again, yay. Yesterday, I just could not stomach it. It reminded me of when I was pregnant with all 3 of my kids. For the first 3 months, I could not drink tea. It just made me nauseous. So yay, I'm glad it didn't last that long. Anyway, as I was sitting here looking around, I thought this might be the perfect time for a bit of a house tour. Now that most of our renovation work is done and everything's tidy and everything's sort of as it has been, hasn't been dressed up for Christmas yet, I thought this might be a good time to do that. So I'll just put my snack on hold for a few minutes and give you a bit of a tour. This is the view from our living room, sitting on the couch, looking up at our loft area. And I can clearly remember sitting in this exact spot the day after we moved in and looking up at this area and thinking, I hate it. There were blue walls below, pinky beige walls above, dusty rose carpet, and a white and oak railing. And it wasn't so much that I hated our new home. I just knew that in order to love it, we needed to put our own mark on it. And now we have. And now it feels like home. And it's so satisfying to see our vision come to life at last. Even though things aren't completely finished, the majority of our work is done. And so I'll give you a look at what we've accomplished since we moved in, interspersed with pictures of how it used to be. This is the view of our living room area taken from the foot of the stairs. It is hard to get a wide view with my iPhone, but I'm going to do the best I can. So we decided to keep the floor in this room, but we changed out the window coverings throughout the home and also painted throughout. Here's a look at the living room from the other side of the dining room, complete with now working fireplace. Hooray! One thing we really did like was the old owners had a metal art sculpture of trees over the fireplace. And we looked long and hard to find one of our own, and we finally found one on Etsy, which we just love. It has all these different tones of brown and rust and gold, which pick up the colors in the pictures that we have in this area. So I'm going to turn you around. Actually, I think I'll move over on this side. It's hard not to get too glary with all the lights. It's getting dark outside now. So there's our dining room area. One of the challenges was that this room or this area could easily become a bottleneck. As you can see, we have a hallway coming in from the right. Oh dear, the lights are messing around. Let's see, hopefully they'll stay put. Anyway, to the right is the hallway that leads to the front door and the bedroom. You can see a stairway coming down there. You've got the kitchen, and then to the right is where the patio door is. So we were able to find just the perfect table for this spot. It's only 3 feet wide, but it came with 2 leaves, which can make the table extend from 5 feet to 6 feet to 7 feet as necessary. And that's proved to have made all the difference. And then you can see we also got a sideboard there to match. Let's head into the kitchen, shall we? Welcome to my kitchen. It's small, but it works. Everything in this room has been redone, from the paint to the cupboards to the countertops to the floor to the backsplash. And now I do love it. Even though it's not as large as our old kitchen, it certainly is functional. So I'll bring you, just give you a floor to ceiling look. You can see our stove and microwave and sink are in this wall. And up above there are lighted cupboards to display my special china and different keepsakes. And a little tea corner in the corner there. And I'll come in and swing around and give you a view from the other side of the kitchen. Have lighted cabinets up here too. I know it's hard with the lighting at this time because it's dark outside now. So everything's glaring. So that dishwasher was installed the day we were getting our home inspection done. And so because it was brand new, we did not replace it. But once it gives out, we'll replace it with a stainless steel one. But it just didn't make sense to replace a perfectly brand new functioning dishwasher. And I'll walk this way and swing around again. So you can see that looks into our dining room and living room. And then here's our enormous pantry. We had a pantry here already that was not as deep and not as tall. These ceilings are really high. And when this went in, I just about died. It was such a monstrosity. But I must say I appreciate having all of that storage space. And now that it's in and everything else is done, it doesn't seem quite as large. So I have a big window here where I am attempting to grow herbs. They did really well outside. Not quite as well since I brought them inside, but I'm hoping they'll survive the winter. And then I've got a plant stand to fill up this corner and another window that comes in. Okay, follow me down the hall. To our left, there's the door to the garage. There's the laundry room. And there's a closet that we converted from a coat closet into a linen closet / vacuum closet. Let's go into the linen closet, or the laundry room for a sec. So the cupboards that are up there above the washer dryer used to be on this wall, but we switched them over, and then we installed a rack that pulls out for hanging up clothes. And in addition to that, we have like a fold-out drying rack where I can dry my socks. And I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of these cross-stitch pictures that I had done years ago. And so we put them up in here. Why not? There you can see my other drying rack and a cupboard for storage. And then this is the door that leads down to our crawl space, which takes up the entire footprint of our place. Here's the powder room where we have replaced the cabinet and countertops. It still needs baseboards and pictures, but it's 10 times better than it used to be. Here's a view of the hallway from the front door. Have a coat closet here, and then here's the door to our bedroom. So this room faces the front. We've got an armoire tucked there behind the door that holds all of my sweaters and socks. And the trunk there used to belong to Cameron's grandmother, so I have all my shawls and scarves in there. Walk over to the side. We've got a walk-in closet over there, which I love because you can tuck everything out of sight. Feels really important to me because you see this room as soon as you come in the door. So I want really try hard to keep it tidy. And then we have an ensuite, which we never had before, which is really nice too. Again, it's a small room, so it may be hard to capture, but we replaced the vanity in here too and countertops. And then we have a shower over here. More cross stitch I couldn't bear to depart with. And why not in a bathroom, right? These are little Four Seasons motifs, which I love. And then a look at the bedroom from this angle. Okay, let's head up the stairs. One thing I love is this little ledge and opening that looks into the kitchen. My plant just loves it here. So if I walk backwards, we have some pictures up here at the landing area. And then I'll turn around and show you the view from the top. My craft room is at the top of the stairs. It's a little bit messy now, but I did do a full craft room tour a few months ago, and I will link the regular podcast episode below in case you're interested in that. This is how things look from the top of the stairs. Looking towards the loft area, so on the right we have a storage closet, and that's where the hot water heater is. And then if you walk down here, you come into the loft area. So I will give you a look at how things look from above. So our living room and dining area. And then I'll turn around and give you as good a view of the loft as I can. So I've got some plants up there, and then this is my desk area. Here's a look at our spare room. It's a bit crowded, but it works for us. There we have a sofa bed against the far wall, which is actually really comfy to sit on too. That was a must. So this is where we watch TV right now. If I turn around this way, you can see Cameron's comfy chair and the TV that will be moved downstairs. And then if I come around the other angle, there we have bookshelves on either side of the window. This one still has to be unpacked. And then I also have my treadmill in here. And when it's folded up like that, I can use the extra space to do my exercise videos. So for our purposes, this room suits us really well. And if we move the coffee table out to the loft area, there's lots of room when you open up the sofa bed to get around for guests. And one final room is our upstairs bathroom. We also changed the cabinet and countertop in here. It's a full bath with a bathtub and shower. And more cross stitch that I didn't want to get rid of. And then this room has a pocket door that leads into the spare room, which is beside it. So guests have like an ensuite of their own. And this is the view from our spare room window. You can see some of our neighbors have their Christmas lights up. And in the daytime, you can see the mountains, if they're not clouded over, that is. And that concludes the house tour. I hope you enjoyed it. It took longer than I expected, so my tea there is now stone cold, and I haven't touched my scone, but I'm going to go reheat my tea and eat my scone while I edit today's episode. I want to thank you so much for all your get well wishes. I'm happy to say that I'm feeling much better today. I'm looking forward to a nice cozy Friday night. We're having pizza for dinner, and I'm going to have a glass of wine and just enjoy feeling more like myself. So thanks so much for joining me today on December 5th, Vlogmas Day 5, and I'll see you tomorrow for Day 6. Good night.